Okay, today's project at Aussie Drifter Touring is on this Range Rover. So we're setting it up to tow the boat, also big caravan. So we're going to have 12-pin plug, electric brakes, fridge feed, Anderson, all the usual stuff, camera feeds. But the main thing we're going to look at is trying to get a dual battery system in here to run the Waeco as well. So our plan is to remove these panels, get a battery in behind that panel, put it all back together so that we can't see anything. And then we'll probably get some sockets in here, maybe USB, fridge plug, that type of thing. So yeah, let's start by getting the spare wheel out, getting these panels off and seeing if we can make it fit. Okay, we've got our battery in place. It fits in there quite snugly. We've had to do a few modifications to the outside panel. We're yet to see if that's going to go on, but stay tuned. What we have had to do though is this bracket was basically mounted where the battery was, and that had the diesel module on it. So it was secured to these 3 bolts. So we've undone the diesel module from there and we're going to discard that bracket. And we've found a lug up in here. So we're going to securely mount the diesel module up in this position here. And that allows the indentation here to go back into place and the cover to go on, hopefully. So stay tuned and we'll see if we can get that cover back on and hide that battery. Okay, just a run through of where everything's located in the dual battery system for the Range Rover here. So we can see we've actually opted to get a 100 amp hour AGM in here, which is quite big. You could easily fit something smaller, but we've had to do a few modifications to get this size battery into there. But it is doable. We've managed to get it snugly fit. The covers all go back on. But just to run down where the locations of everything are. So unfortunately we want to make this so that it doesn't look like there's a dual battery system in there basically. So it's all snug away. So we've got the Redarc charger hidden away. Downside of that is we won't be able to easily access and see the screen once it's all back together. But there's a great way of overcoming that. So we'd recommend some kind of voltmeter or battery monitor that you can either use on your phone, Bluetooth one, or just a battery meter that you can read, and that's going to tell us all we need to know basically. So once we start up the car, we're going to see the voltage rise. It'll tell us that the Redarc's working. If we've got the car stopped and we're running on solar, gradually throughout the day we're going to see the voltages come up. So that's going to be our easiest way of telling whether the Redarc's working. And it is still accessible. It's quite easy to get this panel off. It's only plastic clips, so there's no bolts or anything that has to be undone if we do need to get in there. But for day-to-day use, it's just made it nice and snug, all hidden away, and we can put the panels back up. You wouldn't even know there's a dual battery system there. So the other thing we've done, we've mounted the DC-DC there. We're going to run the cables down to the main battery, which is under the spare wheel here. So that's where we're powering the DC-DC off. Then we've run the output cables up to the auxiliary battery and running some accessories off it here. So once we get this panel on, we'll show you where we've got the accessories mounted. And also there'll be the accessory plugs, and under that will be an Anderson plug, and that'll be wired into the Redarc as well to accept solar. And the one thing, so some models have a battery here for the stop-start system, so would recommend checking this panel before you start. Make sure that you do have the room there to mount the dual battery system. We've taken the diesel module, which used to be mounted there, and we've mounted it up under here. So you can see it's securely mounted on a stud there, so it can't move. Alright, so we'll get this panel back on, mount those sockets, and we'll show you the finished result. So we're all done on the Range Rover Sport dual battery system. So we're just going to come down the back, show you the finished product. So as you can see, barely know that there's a dual battery system hidden in there. And as we showed before, it's all back in behind that panel, which has all gone back together perfectly. And then we've just got access to our sockets there, which we've used it in the indentation, because that way if you plug stuff in and you've got cargo in here, it's not as likely to hit or damage any of the plugs that you've got plugged into there, because it's so far in the enclosure. So we've got just a cigarette socket for a standard fridge plug, and dual USB sockets, charge devices in the back here, and also an Anderson that we've just got in a little flip up cover there. Now that's just for solar, portable solar, so if you've got a solar blanket you can plug in, and the Redarc charger, which is hidden behind there, will regulate the battery charge from the solar panels. So yeah, just another custom dual battery setup, another option to get a dual battery system in the Range Rover Sport. Thanks for watching.